And we're Piss and Moan. And we're going to review...
Hello, YouTube.
Oh, let's get to Rotten Tomatoes so I don't look at myself.
I'll look at you for you. What we do is we got to put a cardboard divider right down the street.
So we can only see
I can look at you and you can look at me.
I like it. It's mirrored anyways, so it's perfect. Today we're going to be reviewing Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. It should be pronounced Grindelwald, not Wald with like a W.
Grindelwald.
That's not right. It should be.
It's all over the map with pronunciation in the Harry Potter universe.
Yeah, they're freaking terrible consistency in that universe. Voldemort.
Yep.
Grindelwald should be pronounced with a V though. Calling it. It looks like a German name or Eastern European of some sort. Baltics.
But my least favorite part was when the Disney princesses caught Grindelwald as he was
and
flying
he
out
didn't
the
fit in the dress,
I know,
pop
right?
his belly out. I mean, come on, that was unbecoming of Mr. Depp.
Hello, YouTube. This is Piss and Moan.
One thing I have to say is I actually really like seeing Depp in a non-comedic role. Like,
oh man, he did a great job.
Actually, he's probably the best part of the whole movie. Even though I don't like a lot of the direction. Okay.
Dumbledore was my favorite part.
Oh, he's great too. And so is Lestrange.
Lita.
That's one thing we both agree on. Like, they did not treat her sufficiently well. Like, they made wasted.
No spoilers. Vague on spoilers.
Said wasted potential. That's all.
No wasted potential. Yes, but.
Well, that pretty much sums up all the main cast and crew. Like, they spent so much time on... I'm trying to even think.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't...
They're trying to force...
Most of them isn't wasted potential. Most of it is... Here was my overall view of the movie. It's a movie that's 100% dependent on its sequels, whether or not it's good.
Yeah, this is absolutely sequel fodder. I mean, like, it's one of the worst examples of it. I mean, it's like a piece of the Hobbit movies. It's not a self-contained story. It should literally be part one, because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. It ends at a... Well,
there's a
difference.
difference.
Wait till we get in a review.
There's a difference between, like, 3 movies in a trilogy. Like, The Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the King. Then there's Harry Potter, like, book 1, book 2, book 3, This is The Hobbit Part 1. This is...
And I think it's the difference, because each of the books has the hard line of, this is a school year, this plot all takes place in the school year.
Yeah, it's a self-contained story. There can be a larger overarching plot, like this is a portion of that bigger plot, but this is not that. This is part 1 of a contained plot story. This has not got a concise beginning, middle, end. It is like beginning, middle, and that's where it ends.
Well, this is it. Well, if you consider the first movie beginning, this is middle. It's just all middle.
Yeah, but that's not fair. The first one is a self-contained movie.
True. Yep.
You can
agree to that.
You can take and remove it from this, and with a little bit of explanation.
Movie. Yeah.
You take away that first movie, and this one could stand on its own if it had a second part. You don't need to know the characters well enough, as if you've seen the first movie, to be able to watch this. But you will not be able to watch the third movie without seeing this first.
Mm-mm. And honestly, that's how most movie trilogies go. Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one is standalone. The second one is cliffhanger ending, depending on the third.
Yeah, I'm trying to...
Same with Star Wars, same with...
No, not Star Wars.
Yeah. New Hope is a self-contained story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those are all self-contained stories.
Yeah, I'm talking... That's how it goes with trilogies these days. The first movies are usually self-contained, and the rest start to overflow into each other.
Not that badly. The Star Wars, the second one was... Like, think the prequel trilogy. Those are all 3 self-contained movies.
Well, yeah, but they're all not very
good.
They're
better than we remember. We should do a look back. I think they're not as bad as we remember.
It's some pretty... I mean, it's not...
I'm with Thor Skywalker, and I think Episode 1 is a few tweaks away from being a masterpiece. I honestly feel that way. You take away some of the midichlorians, you take and massage Jar Jar a lot.
Massage Jar Jar.
Oh, miss alike. It's so stressful talking
God,
like this.
Is Pissing on talking about Star Wars again?
No, never. Never. It always comes back to Star Wars. We might have a problem.
It's just so much of our movie watching culture is defined by Star Wars. And
the original 6 movies.
Even the new movies. Because
Yeah.
I feel like Last Jedi illustrates a lot of the problems with modern storytelling.
Yeah, it really does. You're absolutely right. And Solo demonstrates the backlash and inappropriate damage done
the
to...
victimizing of innocence.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, poor Solo. Not that great, but not that bad.
Star Wars really is the example of the zeitgeist. I mean, you can track it as it is American culture.
Yeah,
Star
really
Wars
is.
is American culture, and I know Star Wars. They ripped off all these Japanese films, but I mean, that's America. America is
literally
all cultures massed together into one giant.
just like
blob.
Dumbledore.
Yes, Dumbledore. Fine, we'll get
Actually,
back.
Harry Potter's not far off too.
That's true.
During its time period. Actually, like we said, it's a perfect example of what's wrong with current storytelling.
Excuse me.
This really is the last Jedi of the Harry Potter saga. It's very frustrating for me.
I would not. No,
it's not that bad. It is not a 1 out of 10, not by any stretch of the imagination.
It's a part 2 of a franchise, of any given franchise. I wouldn't say, because I mean, it's just as much Empire Strikes Back in the way it structures the plot to support a sequel. I mean,
it's so much more than those ones were,
Catching
though.
Fire, Dead Man's Chest. This is pretty much Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah, that I think is a fair comparison. The Pirates trilogy was like this.
And because the more I go back and watch At World's End, the more I like it.
This has the potential to be pretty darn good if the third one comes out and it's good.
That's like I said, this is a movie that's dependent on other movies and whether or not it's good.
I want to complain a lot, but
we
so yeah, let's give it a rating. I'm honestly with the tomato meter on this one. I'm giving it like a 4 out of 10. I think it's below average. I think they really executed it poorly. There's a lot of sex scenes I really disliked. There was needless darkness for a kids movie, in my opinion. I know we better disagree on that. I felt there was unnecessary darkness.
I'm gonna give it.
Item on sale on my wish list. I'm going to GOG. Screw this.
I'm gonna give it 6 out of 10. With all the same stuff as yours, but I'm giving it an additional point for Depp and an additional point for
Dumbledore.
Yeah.
I didn't have
Jude
any
Watson.
I don't think I had a single problem with any of the acting in this. Like,
no, because I mean, we had complaints about Newt in the first one, who was too quiet and mumbly, and
top notch. His acting was great this movie. His interactions with his brother was good.
He does a good job with the character. He makes the character very believable and understandable. Because, I mean, he's got the kind of tick where he's not socially perfect. He's got he struggled, but Eddie makes it work. I mean, Eddie brings the character to life and does it well. And yeah, I don't think any actors I really had a problem with. I did have a problem with the McGonagall scene, because that did not feel very McGonagall, having her running down a hallway screaming 100 points from Slytherin.
Yeah,
that did not feel very McGonagall.
She would take action, but maybe she was young.
Well,
she hadn't come into her own as the...
And this is where Potter nerd in me comes out against it, because I don't think she was working at Hogwarts at that time. Because before Hogwarts, she was a ministry employee until her husband and Auror died. And I think that's where she was supposed to be in this timeline. But it felt like they needed to put in McGonagall just to say, hey, look, there's McGonagall. The same reason they've got Emma Clagan in the class, and the same reason
Yeah.
A guy named Travers is leading the ministry. It's tie-ins to the original series that probably aren't necessary.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen something instead of just a token McLagan appearance. I would have loved to see like Snape's mom or something. Just
someone we're not. Yeah. Or
someone
a Potter
that leads to something rather than a side character that leads to another side character.
I mean, Potter's parents may have been kids at that point.
No, not at that point. In the 20s. 1927 is when this movie
I don't have a good feel for the timeline.
The Battle of Hogwarts takes place in either 97 or 98. I don't remember.
So 80. So, yeah, okay, 60 years earlier. But, yeah, I think that's where I'm going to sit. I'm sitting at 4, but I'm going to preface that with a strong edit on when 3 comes out. That could change my opinion on that as a contained unit. The 2 may be much better than the parts.
Well, and here's the kicker. There are 4 additional movies, or 3 additional movies planned, not just one more.
What?
They're doing 5 total.
I thought they were doing a trilogy.
Nope, 5 movies. It's the rumor is they're supposed to lead up to the rise of Voldemort. This whole series, which makes sense to me. And
so it's not just going to be a Grindelwald story.
I don't think so.
Okay, good. I like that.
Because I'd love to see a young Voldemort in action. That would be creepy and cool as hell. And
this has a lot of potential. This whole series has a lot of potential. They have top-notch actors and pretty good writing most of the time.
This movie gets very clouded. We'll put it that way.
It's just too convoluted. Yeah.
Let's do
the spoilers. I really disliked the children violence. The killing of babies that was done in this movie felt unnecessary to the plot and in for shock value. It was relevant to the plot. We've discussed this, and I don't think that it's not without a purpose.
It up again so the viewers know. Because it's a scene where they've got
the baby in the house.
Yeah, they killed 2 parents. They're killing people off so they can take over a house to use for headquarters person. They kill off the parents, and they go into the room, and they find the kid who's calling for his mom.
And they don't even just, walk in and kill him. Like, he walks in, gets down, gets up close, kind of inspects the kid, then gets up and leaves, and they close the door, and you see the green arc of them Avada Kedavering him.
And to me, that's part of setting up the villain, so we know that the villain's in the wrong no matter what he says.
Like, he doesn't just say he's okay with Muggles. He actively is fine just killing them.
Because he makes a point towards the end of the movie of saying, I don't think all the Muggles should die. I think we need to shepherd them away from World War II. And I think the point is to try and make sure the audience doesn't say, well, maybe Grindelwald is right. And
I think it'd be better without that. Because I think having him more relatable as a character and kind of going along with the people and getting kind of pulled in. And it's not like they're not addressing it. Like, we when we discussed this originally before this movie, I was commenting, they already killed the 2 parents, and he wasn't involved in it. I don't believe he killed anyone. But, if you wanted to make that, to show that he doesn't care for the Muggles' lives, I think the problem is that it isn't that he wants to kill them. It's that he just doesn't care. They're like livestock to him. He has the care for Muggles as we do for cows. A farmer sees a cow in the woods, or a calf, or, a baby animal. It's, can't just leave it here. It'll die on its own. Take care of it. I think that's where they're headed with that. Because if they're looking for that, he wants to kill Muggles and he doesn't care for them, I would have had him, a much easier way to do him is have him actually kill one of the parents, but have him have, a glint of maliciousness, that it looks like he despises them and he actually wants to kill them, and it's not just a culling.
And that could be coming later, for all we know.
And maybe he is just a culler. This really is the same as taking care of livestock that have gotten to rambunctious. We got to cull the population, get them under control. And then it still makes sense to have him kill and have him do it with a complete lack of passion. No care. Not glee, not sadness, just disinterest. It's just part of the task at hand. I feel there was more they could have done that.
And I want to see it again, too, because I need to see the movie again. Because he's got the henchman of his who he argues with, and I'm trying to remember why he was arguing with the henchman. Because that's the henchman he later kills in the fire.
Yeah, he was questioning him on something.
Yeah, and that's why I need to see it again, is because it might be related to that, too. There's a lot going on.
But the girl was in there with the baby, too. Like, they were both in the room for that. Both of his henchmen.
Well, because I'm trying to remember if he tried to get that henchman to kill the kid and he hesitated, or what. Yeah.
Definitely need to see it again. What were some of the other things?
They
fiddled around too much. There was too much happening.
Yep.
Too many different plots. They had unbreakable vows and blood pact. I think there was two different unbreakable things addressed.
Yeah.
One which was breakable potentially, because I think what Voldemort, Dumbledore, and Grindelwald had is different than the unbreakable.
Yeah, I'm pretty
vow.
sure it is. It's.
Oh, that was the other thing we were arguing about, is that
the ethics of the unbreakable vow.
Yeah, because we were and I wanted to discuss it. That's why I sidelined it, because it's a position I have.
But let's get to that in a minute, because I want to discuss one of my I want to not really discuss, but bring up my major flaw.
Your major flaw is not talking loud enough.
Sit down. My biggest
and
issue
talking
with
about
the
Star
movie
Wars
is that Star Wars: The Last Jedi is
hot mess.
I felt like the main characters from the first movie were unnecessarily shoved to the front of this movie. Because,
it is a magical be somewhere to find the movie, so they're the main characters, but
it didn't feel like it was written for them as the main character. Honestly, it felt more like the brother was a main character more than Newt was. And as I've said,
it feels like this movie was written for Newt's brother and his wife and Dumbledore.
Yep. Those would be the three main characters, and I would have been fine with that. Honestly, I did say, I know I've been on the record saying, is I will keep going to see these movies as long as Kowalski is in them, but he was hardly in this one.
I was so frustrated with the amount he got to play, and he was a crucial member of the plot. Like, he had a bigger role to play, I felt, than Newt or his, I can't even remember her name.
Tina.
There's
Tina.
No,
Queenie.
Tina's Queenie. Queenie is the one I was not thinking of. Tina is the one that he likes, because Queenie and Kowalski's relationship I felt was a much better and more pivotal to the plot of the story. The frustration with the Ministry, and because there was the three or at least two major people, and they're just issues with the Ministry. That was Newt's brother and Queenie. They're the ones that were on that line of, we're being too hard on this. We can't keep going in with an iron fist. We are driving people to this. And Queenie, I love him. Why can't I be with him?
Yeah, being restricted by the Ministry.
It's not his fault he's born the way he is, or I am my way. We aren't. Why? That doesn't make sense. And those were the things that were crucial to this plot, and they didn't explore Kowalski nearly enough.
No, and I have issues with them separating at the end.
It wasn't handled sufficiently to.
Well, because I'm wondering how a relationship could survive a separation like that. Even if she rationalizes, I'm doing it all for you, he's saying, I don't want this. I don't know how the relationship can go forward from this point. I'm pretty sure
Queenie's gonna die.
One if not both.
Yeah. I think J.K. Rowling has gotten kill happy. I think this is the start of a bad trend.
Do you remember how many people just picked up a list? Felt like she got a list of characters for Deathly Hallows and just started, yep, dead, 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 dead.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm afraid that that's going to be a recurring trend because they killed off... spoilers! Remember, spoilers! Lestrange, and I felt that was so unnecessary, poorly done, and
I think it's possible they'll go back on that because she was so crucial to this movie, and I loved her scenes with Dumbledore. Ah, man, I loved her scenes with Dumbledore.
I still struggle to see how she was crucial to the plot because I argued when I got done with that movie. I'm like, they literally put Lestrange in this movie as a plot device to be killed off for an emotional hit. Like, all she was husband to a main character. All she was a student of a main character. All she was a love interest of another main character. Like, she was completely defined by her relationships to others and had no role in of herself. Like, she didn't...
She and Credence... She's the connection to Credence.
But that doesn't need to be there. That served no purpose. It was literally there for a plot twist. That pissed me off when, like... I liked the twist they had, but the way they handled that it was Lestrange's... That I felt did not like. It was a really good draw up to, I felt, a really unsatisfying conclusion. It felt so intentionally designed as a bait and switch.
Good.
It didn't need to have the kid killing. It didn't need to have Lestrange in that. There was other ways it could have handled, like, is it the lost Lestrange? And, like, it was actually her brother who then shows up. Or, like, no, he died at sea. I was there. I tried to catch him and...
Well, cause it's pressures of her growing up as a Slytherin in school, being tormented, and...
But what does that matter to the plot? Like, none of it...
Well, that for me, that's part of why I'm mad they killed her off, because it felt like there was more to her story.
I agree 100%. I think that's the biggest reason why I'm so frustrated, because she was so well developed and well executed and acted phenomenally. She was my number one character in the movie, except for maybe Dumbledore. And
Dumbledore's still pretty side in this movie.
Yeah,
too.
And to have her killed off so unceremoniously for no good reason and no benefit. Like, that scene where she died would have been identical if she wasn't in that scene. Like, she didn't stop them or prevent anything. They literally just ran away, which was supposed to not be possible. It was dumb. That scene in particular was very dumb. That knocked a few points off the movie for me.
I'm trying to remember because...
The only way it would redeem if she actually went with Grindelwald and, like, she is bad. She had fully...
Because that might make sense. Because that... We'll get to...
The Lestranges are bad people. Like, that's historically...
We'll get to other characters in a minute, because I do want to discuss it. But I'm also... Grindelwald knew who she was by name. And I'm trying to remember why he knew that.
He knows the Lestranges. They're very powerful, pure-blood...
He knew her as Lita. And I'm trying to remember how he would have... No, because did he know her brother at all?
I don't think so. Her brother played very little point in the plot.
That
was another character I didn't feel.
They're definitely setting him up to be in sequels.
Yeah.
There's
so much sequel fodder in this movie.
The one that bugged me the most was Nagini, Snake Lady.
That was... Yeah. Unless they have bigger plans for her to somehow develop, like, a point, because...
I really hate when... I'm worried they're going to try and make her sympathetic to the point where you feel bad about her dying in the Potter books.
She is evil. She is, like, she's literally a Horcrux.
And to have her be strictly love interest of Credence, I think, is... Because, to super spoilers, Credence being another Dumbledore.
Was that part of the plot? I thought that's like... Is that real canon breaking?
I don't think it violates any actual canon. I mean, it's... They don't say he's a brother of Aberforth or Albus. he's just another Dumbledore. He could be another part of the line.
I think it's implied that he's Dumbledore's brother.
No, because the ages are all wrong.
That's my point. Like, it seemed completely out of left field because it doesn't
He
seem
could be a child, for all we know. But for me, what it would...
It's Albus's kid.
I don't think there are any strong female characters in Albus's life.
Well, go. He was old when that happened, but...
No, because she's married. So was for a while.
Shit happens?
Because...
Don't judge me.
Well,
I'm not sure where they're going with it.
The Nagini. I don't know if I'm going to... Because what I'm thinking is going to happen, and I want it down in the video so if it comes true, I can say. I think what's going to happen is Dumbledore is going to have to kill Credence, and that's what makes her evil.
Oh, that's such a poor reason to be evil. That's...
100% malice against Dumbledore is what I'm expecting.
That could work,
and
I guess.
Well,
but why would that draw her to Voldemort? Voldemort doesn't have any real animosity for Dumbledore. He kind of fears him, but they actually have a pretty good relationship. Dumbledore teaches him a lot and is very much a mentor. He doesn't follow in Dumbledore's path, but you know what? Dumbledore's got a lot of that. He leads a lot of boys astray. I think Harry Potter was his one exception. And he didn't do a great job there.
Well, and I wouldn't... With the flashbacks, I don't think Dumbledore and Voldemort were ever that close, because I'm pretty sure... Because the way it's talked about in the books is Dumbledore was the only one who could see through everything Voldemort had personality-wise, and so Voldemort stayed away from him.
Okay.
Because Dumbledore...
I may be completely wrong. I need to reread the books.
Because Dumbledore knew for sure it wasn't Hagrid who unleashed the basilisk in the castle. It's all... It's kind of weird. I know a lot of Harry Potter useless facts.
It'd be fun to do kind of an in-depth Harry Potter analysis, kind of like Thor Skywalker does for...
It would. Problem is, I think the plot, the canon's a bit of a mess right now.
With these new movies, or?
In general, it's all over the map on Pottermore. Because that's where I get the McGonagall was married stuff. And honestly, another thing that disappointed me about this is I was hoping to hear more about the American school, because that was kind of... They made a big deal about it on the Pottermore website, and they mentioned it in the first movie, but then they just kind of leave America for France.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the last scene is supposed to be them in a different school, a different wizarding school, or what, but... It
looked like it'd be Hogwarts.
Well, no, in the mountains when it's Grindelwald and Credence.
Oh, that I don't know. I'm assuming that's his. Doesn't he have a hideout in the mountains? That's where Dumbledore's final showdown with him is.
I don't know. Because I'm pretty sure.
I remember something about that.
Maybe. But what it boils down to is this is all dependent on sequels.
Yeah, I'm so baffled by their decision to make Nagini a person. Yeah. That just seemed so random. It really changes Voldemort's relationship with her.
I mean, at this point, it's all a matter of does she know where she's going with the story? Yeah, man, it's back to the damn Star Wars.
Right?
Question.
It's always that's when you when we made that comparison that Star Wars is the zeitgeist. This is following in the same exact footprints. It's just like the Star Wars. It's not as bad, but this kid has the potential to be really bad. The next one could be awful.
So what's the Snape is a good guy twist they're gonna do? I know what it is. Kowalski's actually a wizard.
Don't keep it. Yeah, try not to shake the camera.
Kowalski's actually a wizard. That'll be the big plot twist, and that'll be how
dumb.
That'll be how he resisted the the memory spell.
Oh.
And I hated how they skipped over him remembering. Too.
Yeah, and the romance. That was a big deal to me. Like, that she would love potion him, that was not something to gloss over. That might not be recoverable for me and for a relationship. Her abandoning him because she wants to change the world so that they can be together, I did not feel was as bad as her literally charming him to try and have babies with him. That is rape. That is literally rape.
It's a lot of line crossing going on in that relationship.
And I don't feel like it needed to be, and I don't feel like that's the character they've developed for her. It felt out of place just to kind of push to the plot where it is, that she's getting more and more crazy. That's really why I think they're going to kill her off and leave Kowalski devastated. Because he loves her even with all of her imperfections, and honestly, she's crazy. Like, she is crazy.
Kowalski can't live either because he's a muggle who knows about wizards.
That's okay in Europe, isn't it? Or is it not? I can't remember.
I don't know.
The rules are in it's not clear. They're not clear enough on those.
Because I thought
they jump the countries and
in the first Fantastic Beasts movie, I thought Newt was criticizing the U.S. for not letting Muggles and humans intermix. Well, that should be fine in England.
And they said that. Queenie said that. Okay. Yeah, Queenie, or no, Kowalski said specifically, but that's okay. Or she said it was okay here. And he's like, I don't want to take the risk. Which I felt was not logical either. Like, you moved to France. Now it's legal. No more concerns.
But...
Meme review. Don't ask. You don't watch PewDiePie.
But another problem with that, well...
Like, she solved the problem by them going to France. They could literally get married and have kids.
It doesn't make sense then why she decided to side with Grindelwald.
It also doesn't make sense why Kowalski continued to tell her no. His logic was she'd get in trouble, but they're not in a country where it's a problem anymore, and just stay there. That relationship wasn't fleshed out, and it was one of the highlights of the first movie. It was disappointing to see how it handled it.
Man, because he was the best part of the movie.
He was the best part of the movie. He carried that movie. And I don't understand why they put that, like, super awkward romance between Scamander and his assistant.
Oh, Tina?
No, his assistant.
Oh.
That whole part was just kind of there to make him seem like a jerk. I think that's all I got from it.
Well, I think it might have been there to illustrate his social awkwardness.
But I don't think it did a good job of that.
But I had huge complaints about Newt and Tina's relationship too, because here's another movie.
Miscommunication. It's not a plot device.
She reads a freaking
cinema sin. It's artificial sin. Do not use miscommunication or lack of communication. It's not a plot device.
Works.
It is
in
poor
comedy.
writing.
Doesn't work in drama.
Yes, it's poor writing. It's lazy. Because
she reads in a tabloid that they're getting married, and
that's
where
it.
the research stops.
Done. Relationship ruined.
Time to screw this guy, not screw this guy. Whatever.
Too far, man. Too far.
I'm sorry. That's a little of online me getting into this. Man, really does all end up with lewd for me.
I'm right there with you.
I don't know if I should be proud of that.
You were Mr. Prude. Prude de lewd. That's what the internet does to you.
Well, it's not really what it is. It's just every conversation I end up with online turns to lewd discussions. And I don't know. But let's not get into that.
I'm uncomfortable with the direction of this conversation.
The ethics of the Unbreakable Vow.
Oh, yeah. So we were arguing whether the other Lestrange was a good guy or bad guy. Because I argued he is bad. Just straight bad. He's literally there to kill someone for no other reason than his father was bad. Like,
he's there to kill the brother because
he was who the dad loved most, and they wanted revenge against the dad.
No, we don't know. For all we know, for all we know, he could have been bullied into that unbreakable vow, just like everyone else in the series.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
And he's not there just to kill. He is there to save himself. He's there because the unbreakable vow is either you complete this or you die.
Yes, and I understand.
So, I say it's an act of self-defense to go after him.
So, so what I'd compare that to is literally like if someone puts a gun to your head, you say, "Shoot that person or I kill you." Like, it's not okay. You can't kill an innocent to save your own life. I don't feel that that's acceptable. I do not feel that that's ethical. I feel that that is inherently evil. Like, it is inherently selfish. I mean,
it's still an act of self-defense. And I will say, because he didn't end up killing anyone, he didn't even attack anyone, he's going to find him. We don't know what he's going to do when he finds him.
No.
I mean, because it's there's enough allowable time in this equation to find out whether or not the person you're chasing after deserves death. It's not just he's going to find him to kill.
Well, his unbreakable vow is to kill.
Yes, but there's still plenty of room for him to make a decision before he does it.
I guess.
I mean,
he hasn't done the evil act yet.
Yes, and that's the thing is, it never comes around because it ends up being moot.
Fair point.
He doesn't actually do anything evil. He's in the pursuit of evil. I suppose it's the difference between attempted murder and murder.
I wouldn't even go that far. A conspiracy to murder versus murder.
Okay, yeah.
He has full intention to, but he does not try to, and he does not succeed. And that is a fair point. God.
It's dubious, and it all depends on the sequels.
I'd be interested to see if she actually explored that, because that is a very serious topic that they have explored real life in Europe. I mean, the Nuremberg trials of trying Germans and using the excuse, well, it was do this or die, that is not held up. The world has decided that just because the Nazis told you to do it doesn't mean you're absolved of the actions you took.
And then that's the under orders. Yep, I was under orders.
So that's how I feel about the unbreakable curse. Like, it sucks, but you die. You don't kill to save your own life. I mean, no, it's not that you don't kill. You don't kill an innocent just to save your life. I do not feel that that's acceptable. It's like this war of mine, where you steal from others who are just as starving as you to try and keep your guys alive, and it's, them or you. Is it okay to literally kill someone to make you guys live a couple days longer? It's a topic worth exploring, but I don't think that she's gonna. I think they're done with that plot line already.
She's already dodged around it enough times.
And it felt like she dodged it with this one by making it go away.
Yep.
It was just a way to get him into the plot. I think he's just going to be a good guy now, for no good reason.
Well, I don't know, because she does explore what counts as good and what counts as bad with Snape. But
yes.
The problem is she never answers the question. She still dodges the question to this day on whether Snape is good or Snape is bad.
Well, that's because it's not. I won't say it's not. I don't think it is clear cut. You aren't good or bad. It's not how real world works. Good people do bad things and bad people do good things. And we've had this argument extensively. We could do a video on that.
We've argued Snape specifically.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We could do a video on just that. That might be worth doing. It's a good topic to explore.
We're getting a good length on this video. I like it.
We're passionate about Harry Potter. Oh, God, 40 minutes? Jeez.
It's...
For a movie, I gave a 4 out of 10. And you gave it a 6 out of 10.
Because we haven't even gotten to Dumbledore and Grindelwald yet.
I don't like this blood oath. It seems to really have muddied the water.
Well, we say the words again.
It depends on the sequel. I immediately pictured the Simpsons thing where I say it again, and Bart's like blah blah blah, and then everyone's he said.
Because I loved everything with Dumbledore does. I loved how they explored his character and the struggles he's go through, and how he has to hide it and get past it at Hogwarts. Like the fact that Lita's like, you have no idea what I'm talking about. And he's like, actually, I do. Because it makes clear that that's not something he advertises.
It's not... Yeah. And I loved his interactions with the Ministry, the way that they fear him, that they're paranoid of him, which they always are, and that he just doesn't care. Like, they have no interest in him. It's an interesting concept to explore, and one I don't think that...
Yeah, because he has
unlimited
all
power.
The power, and is deciding not to use it.
It's an interesting concept that I don't think J.K. Rowling is exploring as much as she should, because she's very involved in politics and like anti-authoritarian. But I mean, like, she's got a guy who's like unfettered power to the point where the government fears a person, just like in entirety. Like, they're terrified of this guy. He is the equivalent to them of a Hitler, but he just never does anything bad. But that doesn't change it. That guy is serious risk. Man.
But she does. I mean, it's literally the same as Harry Potter. Man, the Ministry goes after Harry in the exact same way.
Yeah.
I didn't see that parallel before, and I don't know how I feel about it.
I think we need to do more in depth than Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Write up some scripts.
Thin ice rolling. I'm just kidding.
Actually, I'm with him. Thin ice. You better make a freaking decent movie to follow this up, or we're going to be really upset. Don't pull a Star Wars. Please, don't pull a Star Wars.
Pulling The Last Jedi would be a problem.
Yeah, don't pull a Last Jedi. You can do a prequel trilogy. I don't mind that. You pull an episode 1 out of your butt, and I'll laugh and I'll love you.
At least we can trust for one great action scene if you...
Oh God, Kowalski's Jar Jar.
No, he's not.
If they had done Jar Jar just a little better, we could have had a Kowalski. Could you imagine a Kowalski in episode 1? How amazing that would have been.
Well, they are very different characters. Because Kowalski is essentially an audience insert. Jar Jar is just a goofball. Who makes no sense in the...
He could have been.
Yes, he could have been.
He could have been so good.
He could have been literally anything else.
And then it would have been fantastic. Jar Jar, fix the world.
I mean...
Episode 1 for best Star Wars movie.
Jar Jar still counts as a fantastic technical achievement, being the first CGI character in
He
movies.
holds up, honestly. He still does not look bad. Like, some of the Gungans do.
Considering how long it took us to create CGI Tarkin.
Oh, yeah. It's easier when they're not human. The less human they are, the easier they are to CGI.
Oh man, it's still Star Wars time, isn't it?
It's always Star Wars.
Let's see, what else is there?
Oh my, look at Robin Hood. Oof. Ouch.
Called it. God, it looks terrible.
It looks really bad. Rosanna wants to see it.
It looks so over the top. I mean, look, it looks as generic and terrible in action movies you could possibly make. I mean, hell, Ben Mendelsohn is the new generic villain number 3 for every series now. I mean, Rogue One, Ready Player One. Hey, 2 movies with the word one in them. Rob One Hood. Hey, look, no. Off topic again. See what else is there.
Yeah, I don't think there's much more to explore in this one.
As I mentioned,
not Queenie, but the
Tina.
Tina. They did not have her in this movie much at all.
I would say she might even fail the Bechdel test with the, because she's there as a plot point.
Yeah, she's literally the only reason that Newt's there.
Well, she's chasing Credence.
But she doesn't have...
But that's not illustrated very...
Well, she has no impact on Credence.
Are they even share a scene together?
No. Oh, no, he walks past her to go in the fire. They're in that scene together.
Okay.
Are
they in the camera shot together?
No, because she literally just stands there and doesn't... I don't even know if she has a line in that scene. Because she's always just kind of there and looking uncomfortable. Wow. More of her time is spent looking uncomfortable than Newt.
Oh, that was something we'll discuss.
No, hold on there. She literally spends more percentage of her time looking uncomfortable than Newt.
That'd be perfect. That was something else I wanted to discuss. The big Coliseum scene at the end.
That was so dumb. I
actually liked that scene. I really liked the insertion of the evil ministry member as there to kill somebody.
Wait, what?
The ministry member was working for...
Oh, was he?
Yeah. They had the scene where he meets in the back alley with...
Oh, you're right. I didn't catch that.
Because... I kind of like that. Because if you think... Because I wonder if the girl that he kills was a plant in the audience, too.
It almost could be, because that is the kind of guy Grindelwald is. It's all a play.
Because had it been anyone else, no one should have, in the right mind, cast a killing curse. That was done there specifically to inflame the audience.
That makes a lot of sense now. Because that made no sense to me. That blew me... Like, why would he just kill? Is that common police practice?
It's there to manipulate his audience again.
Yeah.
And
give him an excuse to kill him.
Subtle stuff like that makes me love it. But it's the over-the-top stuff.
I almost wonder if the ministry guy ordering the whole thing is a plant. Because the idea to just storm this place is idiotic.
I think that was the idea. The
ministry guy, the guy who didn't come, who ordered them to go. The guy who's forcing them to keep
Trevor's, his descendant at least, is a future Death Eater, so it's possible.
I think he may be a plant. I think he may be in on this the whole thing, and it's all a Grindelwald ploy. And it's the reason why the Ministry hates Dumbledore so much is because they're practically with him, which is basically a common thread in Harry Potter anyways.
Yeah, government is trash.
And the Ministry gets infected by the bad guys. That's pretty common.
It would make sense.
Yeah, that's my theory.
Because he's there in the last scene when they go into Hogwarts, and he undoes Dumbledore's restraints.
He has to.
Should I say the words again, or do you want to? It all depends on the sequel.
Meme review. This could be really good. This could be really bad. A lot of potential here. Don't F it up.
I mean, I could say this could end up being Emperor Strikes Back, or could end up being Last Jedi, but that's not really fair because Last Jedi hasn't had its sequel yet, and Empire Strikes Back is good without Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay. This could be Dead Man's Chest, or it could be Mockingjay Part 1.
Oh, God. That's a very good... That is a very apt analogy. That was a cluster of a... I don't know if you guys have gotten my opinion on the whole... what is it? Not To Kill a Mockingbird, but to Kill a Mockingjay.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. That's like, that's pretty good. Where did we go? What? Oh, we're done. Well, that was weird. You really had something going there, but you had to finish it, and you had no idea where you were going, did you? Wow. And we got to the finish line, I guess. Anyway, we came in skidding, going backwards on our face somehow, but we made it.
Because I actually liked Mockingjay Part 2 the first time I saw it, and then I went and saw it again. I'm like, this is not very good, is it?
You should try reading the book. It's way, 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 way messier. It is way messier. They cleaned that mess up for the film. There's not many times where the film cleans up the book. That is one of them. Woo!
Let's see if I can think of other examples. Oh, I like Ready Player One movie way better than I like the book.
Yeah, I've heard the book is not as...
The book has problems.
So does the movie. I'm so ugly, my facial deformity.
Well, that's Hollywood problems, not movie problems. Well,
Yes.
Same thing. But I suppose we've dragged this out pretty much as long as we can at this point.
So, any words of wisdoms for the viewers?
It all depends on the sequel.